What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Vover Sports Card Show. I am your host, Hrelja. Today, I'm going to give you a baseball card market update. I want to wait till Friday to talk about the NBA Finals, just because I think we're going to see some interesting sales over the next few days, and I would prefer to discuss it then. If you want to hear about the NBA Finals, make sure you check out Vover Hoops. But today, let's talk baseball, because I think there's two plays that you'll be making now that I think are going to perform well over these next couple months. So if you look at the first half of the season before the All-Star break, there's two main players that their cards really popped off: Ohtani and Vlad Guerrero Jr. Not only have these players been probably the best two players in the league the first half of the season, but on top of that, they both wildly exceeded expectations. And when you play well and you play better than people think you're going to play, your card prices are going to do well. In terms of Ohtani, we saw some of his cards go 7 to 10x. If we look at Vlad Guerrero Jr., his first Bowman Chrome PSA 10 went from being $80 back in October to now selling for $450. And it makes sense that their cards are performing extremely well. They're both MVP level guys this season. But I think it's important to ask the question that heading into the season, who are the most demanded players? And I think in terms of young guys, there was a clear hierarchy of three superstars. It was Soto, Tatis, and Acuna. Those three guys sold at a premium relative to all the other young players in the league, and it made sense given what they accomplished in their first couple years of the MLB. Acuna is out for the rest of the season, and I discussed his card market last week, so I think you guys understand where I'm at with him. But on today's show, I want to make the argument for why you should consider investing in Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis Jr., because I think both can be generational talents, and I don't want you to forget about their card markets just because some other players are playing well right now. So first, let's talk about Soto, because I think there could be more upside in his cards, given that they've dropped more than Tatis's. Juan Soto is 22 years old. I think we often forget just how young these guys are. We look at Luka Doncic, he's 22 years old. We treat him like a little kid. And if he has a bad fourth quarter, if his team doesn't win, people like to make the excuse that he's just learning the ropes still. And that's completely fine. I agree with that. But when we look at Soto, nobody was giving him the same benefit of the doubt this season. It was extremely unfair. Over these last couple months, we've heard about this Soto slump, that he's not performing at a high level. But I will say this, if you look at the advanced stats, he's still been a top 10 player in the league. So if you want to call that slumping, I'll happily buy his cards from you. If you look at his Topps Update rookie card PSA 10, the Rainbow Foil parallel, it was $2,100 when the season started at the end of March, and it went all the way down to $845 last week. But since the All-Star game, Soto has been on fire. I don't know if it was him going head-to-head with Ohtani in the Home Run Derby. I don't know if it was just having the ability to reset with an All-Star break. But if Soto keeps up this production that he's been doing this last week, his card market is going to skyrocket. In his first 4 games back from the All-Star break, he had 5 home runs and upped his batting average from 280 to 300. He's playing like the guy that we saw last year in the shortened season. He's playing like the guy that we expected him to be, which heading into this season, he was viewed as the top young player in the league. Let's not forget back in February when his first Bowman PSA 10 autos hit nearly $13,000, and now we look a couple weeks ago, and that car is $4,500. But if we look at it today, we've seen 4 or 5 sales since, trending slowly up and now selling for $5,000. I believe heading into the season, his car market probably did get too expensive. We were looking at 2x, 3x for him, Tatis, just in terms of their flagship autos and main cards. But I also think over this last week, people have been looking at Soto cards saying his stuff is too cheap. If we look at a 22-year-old player who's helped lead a World Series already, who hit 360 last season, who has the tools to be a true generational talent, when you look at his card prices down significantly from where they were, and we're looking at football cards right now and basketball cards right now ticking up in price, I think people are going to be looking at Soto saying that there's a value play there. We've had a moment this season where everybody locked in on Ohtani cards and everybody locked in on Vlad, and early in the season everybody locked in on Tatis and Acuna when they were playing amazing. Soto has not had that moment this season, and based on how he's looked since the All-Star break, I'm going to assume that this moment is going to be coming soon. And the only real major criticism that you could have around Soto is that you don't believe that his team has the juice to make a playoff run and they're not exciting to watch. But I think that provides a smooth segue to talk about Tatis cards, because if you look at the Padres, they're must-see TV overall as a squad. We look at Tatis and how he's been branded by the MLB. The MLB has chosen who their next 2 superstars are. The MLB is pushing for it to be Ohtani and Tatis above everybody else. Doesn't mean Acuna and Vlad and Soto aren't superstars and can't have Hall of Fame careers and be amazing. I think they will. But if you paid attention to All-Star Weekend and the promotions that they did, it's clear that they want Ohtani and Tatis to be the faces of the league. If we look at Tatis, he's 3rd in OPS so far this season. His production has been at an MVP level, and there's no complaints there. But I think it goes deeper than just putting up great numbers. I think if you watch Tatis, he does things that aren't typical. If you watched a couple days ago, he literally Euro-stepped Trey Turner at third base so he didn't get tagged out. He makes super athletic plays at shortstop. He hits 450-foot home runs and does bat flips and pisses off the other team. Tatis makes the game of baseball fun. Everybody thinks he's a great dude. He's a young, energetic kid. 22 years old, just like Juan Soto. Don't forget, both of these guys are 22. I think sometimes when we see basketball and football fans looking into the MLB and hearing about their stars, they are not just rising stars like John Moran or Donovan Mitchell. No, Soto and Tatis are the top of the league. They are the gold standard. They are the Kevin Durant, the Giannis. They might not be at that LeBron or Mike Trout status yet, but they're right below that as the true superstars of this league, and you can make the argument that they're as good as anybody. If we look at Tatis' Topps Chrome Sapphire rookie card at PSA 10, it was $5,000 a couple weeks before the season started. This card went all the way down to $2,400 just a couple weeks ago, but it's been trending up since. This card is now at $3,000. I think we're seeing positive momentum in his market. I think if you believe amongst various sports like basketball, football, that over the next couple months, we're going to see positive trends in price. I think Soto and Tatis are going to benefit from this as well. We're talking about two guys that are true superstars. And if you have the ability right now to be buying short print cards, autos, parallels from flagship releases, I think it's a good opportunity to do so. If you want to wait till the end of the season and wait till October or November and hope that the prices are cheaper than today, maybe that happens. But at the exact same time, if you truly believe in these guys and believe in these cards long term, maybe it's smart to hop on now and have the ability to flip it in a month or two. One thing that I want to bring up before we go is that you should always be looking at pop reports. If we look at Tatis, we look at his Topps Chrome X-Fractor PSA 10, selling for $1,200. This card is a pop 1/4 of the pop of his Topps Chrome Refractor PSA 10 that sells for $720. So not only do I think in general Tatis and Soto cards are good deals right now, I think there are some cards that are wildly underappreciated. And the more collectors who end up reading pop reports and understanding the true supply of every card, I think we're going to see adjustments over time. So I appreciate you listening to this Wednesday edition of the Vover Sports Card Show. I am your host, Frank Hrelja, and I'll be back again on Friday.
Vover!